And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Last week at Bristol, we were on the dirt. This week, iRacing's bringing us to Limerock for the SCT Truck Series. And there it is, Limerock. For some reason, I thought it was a short track, but it is by road course standards. Here tonight, they're going to be turning left and right, with Sean Langton starting on the pole. Ross Phillips, the points leader, just on his outside in the configuration for this racetrack. We've got 1.53 miles, so a mile and a half. And as far as short track goes, usually in the 2.5 to 3 mile range. They'll be running tonight. I'll be joined here with Garrett Helmlinger tonight in the booth. And Garrett, this is our second time at a road course this season. What can you tell us a little bit about Limerock?
Well, it's going to be totally different than Coda. Coda, slow, technical. Limerock, very tight, very short, very fast. Going to see a lot of cars getting really squirrely tonight. Going to see a lot of traffic tonight. It's going to look like an IMSA race. The front of the pack's going to be looking like the GTP cars. The back of the pack's going to be looking like GT cars. So it's going to be a really good race if you like watching the leaders bob and weave through traffic.
So let's get the grid back up on the screen here. Sean Langton starting on the front row with Ross Phillips in second. Next row is going to be Dakota Floyd, Kyle Stewart. Ty Cleveland going to round out your top 5 with Dylan Disbrow in 6th. 7th, Morgan Cook, Brian Hennings in 8th. And rounding out that top 10 is Justin Ritchie and Nick Gardner. 11th is Rick Fagone with Cody Williams. 13th is Nicholas Pressey, Thad Miller 14th. And halfway through this field, we've got John Sanu and Jacob Daniels. Trin Collins and Riley Laverne, 18th position for the 19. Kobe Collins in the 19th position. Richard Holland rounding out the top 20 as the pace car pulls off. Braden Zingen, Cole Jarrett, Randy Saleh, and Chris Max. Kai Shappert, David Collins, Benjamin Richards, Teresa Spiker, Garrett Helmlinger is up here in the broadcast booth. Jimmy Sox out there on the track, and John Buell. And the green flag is out. We're live and racing at Limerock, the 603designs.com Grand Prix. And a truck already off the racetrack, that was Cody Williams. He just lost over 14 positions there at the start of this race, but Sean Langton gonna come by and lead lap number 1. And Langton was so good there at Coda. No surprise that he's also having the same kind of luck here at another road course. There's Ross Phillips in the second position. More of the same with the 5 car. Dakota Floyd, who fought very hard at the last road course as well, into the top 3. He was one of the only Orange Speed drivers to finish inside the top 10. I believe they went 1, 2, 4, 5. I think Floyd was in the top 5 there at the end of it. So just an amazing showing. There's Morgan Cook, promised us a top 3. Let's see if he can get up there. He's back in the 6th position as of right now. He's gained 1 spot, has the 44 of Todd Cleveland right behind him. And a truck off the racetrack. That's Brian Hennings ripping the front end off that truck. And it looks like that motor is smoked. That was a hard impact with the inside wall. We're going to go back on the instant replay and figure out what happened to the 74.
Coming over the top of the hill is going to take a lot of cars tonight.
You're going to hear this transition over the hill where he loses traction. He wasn't even on the throttle. Some trucks running over that debris. Luckily, iRacing does not count that physic yet. And the 74 of Hennings brings it to pit road, most likely getting a fast repair here. We do run a fast repair at the road courses, is that correct?
Oh yeah, fast repair always.
Fast repair always. They get 1 for the session. Here's Dakota Floyd in front of Kyle Stewart, who's been hot on that bumper for quite some time. Hennings coming back out on the racetrack. Some racing going on back here with Chris Max getting around Cody Williams rather, passing him. Remember, Williams started up in that 12th position on lap 1, fell back to 26. He's back up to 21st. So a decent recovery here for the 12 so far, but he made this track a lot harder than it needed to be. Nick Gardner off the racetrack. And Saleh just about gets into him. There's a 12 of Williams also going by. So another case of making it harder than it needs to be, but Nick Gardner mitigates. Man, these trucks look loose. Pressy gets into him. Let's go on board here with Nicholas Pressy. You can see Gardner getting loose. There's not much the 94 can really do about it. He tries to miss him, but Gardner's just chasing it across his nose, and that's unfortunate. But so far, 5 laps into the 50-lap race here tonight. 603designs.com Grand Prix is being ruled by the number 8 of Sean Langton. So we went from dirt tracking it to turning right, and look at the battle for 3rd. Kyle Stewart wants that position. It's so tight here at Limerock. If you're going to get a pass, it's most likely going to be down this long backstretch. Floyd holding on to the 3rd position from where he began this race. He's had company with the 41 since we began. Going back through the field a little bit here, some passing going on. Richard Holland gets around Kobe Collins. He's in a gaggle of cars with Buell. I believe this 47 is 1 lap down that he's going to have to work around now. In 4th position, he has the 62 of Frank Zingen in front of him. Holland just looking to recover after last week, the week before, and Buell slides out of the way off the racetrack there. With the 18 of Holland, though, having a rough start to the season. Hasn't been able to put the finishes together that he would have liked to. Some drivers that are having really solid days, though. Looks like Orange Speed's at it again. Morgan Cook in the 6th position. Kyle Stewart in 4th. Ross Phillips, Sean Langton. I believe I'm missing one of these guys. Where's the 55? I don't know if he made the grid tonight. There's Justin Ritchie in 7th. Just behind him. So a dominant top 10 for the Orange Speed drivers. Sean Langton puts down another car a lap down. I believe that's Teresa Spiker there on the inside. There goes Ross Phillips around the outside as well. Here comes the top 3 around, and the number 9, I believe, is coming back out on the racetrack. Actually, the 6 of Mullins also pulling out of the way to let some of these cars by. And Buell having a hard time keeping it on track. Buell across the nose of the 5. We'll have to keep an eye on this 47 truck because it looks like he's struggling just to try to keep the leaders out of the way here. Oh, and contact between the 41 and the 24 just behind the 47 of Buell. And I don't think that was really Buell's fault. Those guys got into each other on their own. Both of them were going to lose a ton of time here. The 41 of Stewart just got into the side of him. Let's take another replay angle here on the blimp camera. They are approaching the 47, but it looked like Floyd had probably the outside line. Stewart clips the apron there and gets into the left rear quarter panel.
One of the worst spots on the track to catch a lap car when you got somebody hot on your heels.
Yeah, that final turn there before the front stretch looked like maybe Stewart clipped that rumble strip and it shot him up to the outside. You can see the lead has grown 3.2 seconds now for Sean Langton. Dylan Disbro in the 7 now up to 3rd after the contact between Stewart and Floyd. They fall back to 7th and 8th position respectively. So not a huge loss. They had quite the gap there through the top 10 of about 10-15 seconds. Now back 18 for Floyd and Stewart. And Stewart's catching back up to the 24 of Floyd. I'm sure he'll be back at that rear bumper soon enough. So across this different sections of this racetrack, the transitions appear as we go down the front straightaway. You can see how long this front stretch is. That's probably the top speed across this entire racetrack is through that section. And then it's a hard break into a 90 right hand. This track almost completely flat other than the hill transitions between the corners. No banking really in any of these turns. And there's the hill that Garrett was talking about earlier where it's going to claim a lot of drivers here tonight. Some guys that are racing their way closer back to the top 2. Sean Langton about 12 seconds ahead of Disbro. And remember, Disbro had a great run at Bristol Dirt. Now all over the back bumper of lap traffic here. That's Justin Mullins they're trying to get around here. Also the 707, everyone going to pull out of the way. Let these guys by. The 6 claims a position there. And it's almost tough to get out of the way here. It's so narrow. Even if you're a lap car and you're trying to be courteous, there's just not a lot of good places for you to get out of the way. As you see the 6 car pulling it off to the right-hand side, but sometimes it hinders the drivers more that are trying to get around you because you exit these corners so slow and the transition to the next one is just so tight. There's not a lot of opportunity.
Very much have to pick your battles.
There's the 88 moving out of the way. And you know, this field, as stacked as it is, to be, you know, close to halfway in the season and to still have a car count of over 30 drivers show up to a road course. It says a lot about VSRL and what they're doing. And as we go back to some tracks that drivers are more familiar with, some of the intermediate ovals, bit more into the schedule of some guys that maybe aren't as experienced, you'll see a little less of the organized chaos. So some of the lap cars will have more guys racing in contention for position, because Sean Langton here tonight is just putting on a clinic. Another great race as we ride on board here with the number 8. What's the score for your Rangers right now?
Oh boy, let me look. Last I saw it was 3-0. 3-0. Something that as this race progresses, that's going to be interesting to see is if anybody is willing to undercut the fuel. Little Birdie told me they're getting in the mid-30s on fuel. They got 2 sets of tires, and right now, based on the data, Sean is about a second and a half slower than his fastest lap tonight. So, is it worth pitting here in the next few laps to get the first set and then pitting again, or is it the better strategy of just splitting it half and half?
Problems here for the 16 to Nick Gardner. I'm not sure if John Buell got into this. He does. He hits the side and rips the right front completely off the 16.
We got problems for Sean.
We have problems for Sean. He's disconnected from the session. So the 8 truck off the racetrack here tonight. Lost connection to the session, and that hands over the lead to Ross Phillips. So Morgan Cook's going to get that top 3 through attrition. I guess it counts. As he goes up to P3, he still has Todd Cleveland within a few tenths of him, though. That car's in front of him there. That's the 74. Brian Hennings all over the back bumper here for the 51 as he gets up on the back end. He's going to go around. And the 51 is keeping pace with Dylan Disbrow. So 2nd through 4th position. There's Richie in 5th, not too far back, about a second and a half.
Well, it would appear that, unfortunately, Langdon's clinic has come to an end due to a black screen.
So computer hardware issues, maybe VR. Is he a VR racer, or is he on monitors?
I think he's on monitors.
So a computer hardware issue, we'll chalk that up to just catastrophic engine failure. Langton going to be off the track. And all the Langton family out there, this was his race. I will attest to that. I think both of us up here in the booth would say that that 8 truck was going to be tough to beat. He had over a 5-second lead. So now the new leader, Ross Phillips, and not taking anything away from him, because in order for him to hang and take that position away, he had to maintain a gap. He had to be in that 2nd position to take it over, and he is 8 seconds ahead of the 7 of Dylan Disbrow. It's when you can find that balance. If you can mitigate damage, and Phillips has done that. He does very well everywhere we go. To sit in the 2nd position at a road course when you do exceptionally well at 1.5-mile tracks, short tracks. That was always my Achilles heel. I don't know about you, Garrett, but there was always tracks on the schedule that I would go to. I could never figure them out. I would always end up outside the top 10, and any points I had, advantage I had in the top 5, it would go away.
Oh, definitely. Too many to name for me right now. It's right down the middle. It's either I'm really good or I'm really bad. There's really no average.
We've seen you put it down at Dover a few times, if I recall.
You know, I feel like I've always had speed at Dover, but I've never been able to put it together. Something always happens.
A little hiccup there for the 5, and we've got some lap traffic, just a gaggle of race trucks here. Hennings, looks like the 9 of Richards, a lot of trucks, the 70 of Spiker. And remember, these are all 4 positions. Some of these drivers are, 2 laps down fighting for a spot. Richard gets around. He's going to try to chase down David Collins now. Chris Max to Trent Collins, 17th through 23rd, is being scored a lap down. You have Kai Schappert racing side by side with Riley Laverne. This is for 14th. And the 6 truck gets out of the way just in time for that pass to happen, and Laverne takes over 14th. Richard Holland up to 13th position. Now, you said 25 laps on the fuel would probably be a split. They can go 30, but I think with 2 sets of tires, I would probably just go ahead and do 1 stop. I don't know that 2 sets is really going to factor in unless I'm just really far behind.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe take a gamble.
At this point, I'm interested to see if anybody is willing to stretch it all the way. Run the fuel till it's empty. I know that there's going to be some that pit and around the lap 25 mark just to have 2 separates, but if you're able to get to 35 on a tank and you're a Ross Phillips, even though the lead is drastically decreasing, do you
chunk
stay
off
out?
the track. That's a 15, I believe. Sorry about that, Garrett, but this was right near the leaders. And the 7 of Disbro going around Zinjan now to put him a lap down. Well, rather, Ross Phillips already has done that, but then lap down 15. I'm not sure what happened to him. Let's go back and take a look. Looks like he just locks up the front tires and sends it around, tries to get it back under him. Uses the peripheral vision to realize no one's coming. He gets it out of the way just in time. He was parked a long ways in the middle of turn 3. So the lead is about 6 seconds. Phillips had about 8 seconds a moment ago, so it's trimmed down 2.5. If you want to Cooks, keeping Disbro busy, though. They could be racing side by side here soon enough. There's the 18 of Richard Holland going a lap down as well. Laverne going a lap down. So we've got 12 trucks still on the lead lap. There's Buell going off the surface again, trying to stay out of the way for some of these drivers. Pass for position. Richard Holland, contact with the 15. He's letting some of these drivers go by.
Dylan and Morgan chopped almost a second off of Ross that last lap.
Yeah, Disbro's coming. Both of them are coming. You think Ross is maybe trying to save some fuel to see if he can stretch it out further?
I'm thinking either that or he might have been already using his tires, or it might just be how much traffic he's been having to navigate these last few laps. I mean, it was not many laps ago where he had over a 10-second lead. And he's going through the heart of the field right now.
Yeah, we're going through the top 10, so it's going to be a little bit tougher to pass some of these drivers. They're not going to be so keen on going a lap down. So it looks like he's approaching the 13 of Thad Miller, going a lap down now. Cody Williams would be the next one in line. There's a truck in front of the 5, and I can't quite tell who that is. Looks like the 00 of Saleh. He just courteously moves out of the way there for the 5. Ooh, Disbro almost makes a mistake there on the exit. Hogwarts Harry Potter machine. Like maybe a harsh transition there. You can hear the RPMs change. That's what Morgan Cook's probably just waiting on, is that mistake from the 7. No sense in trying to get side by side right now. They got a lot of lap traffic in front of them. Todd Cleveland is shaving back down on 2nd and 3rd place, and trouble right in front of him. Disbro's involved, the 19 of Laverne, and that position goes to the 51 of Cook, who gets some right front damage out of that. So lap traffic spins around. Laverne, heavy damage on the front end. Let's go back and watch an instant replay and see what happened here. Looks like the 13 of Miller Laverne just comes back across the nose of Kai Shappert. And this is unfortunately right in front of the 51, who tries to make a move to avoid the 7 checking up. Right on board here with the 51. You can see from the gyro camera, he sees an opportunity, but Laverne just lets it roll back across. That's one of those bad spots on the racetrack, and it's really, there's no good place here to spin out, but when you're on the racing surface, it's just automatically bad. So Cook picks up some right front damage. That helps Phillips stretch the lead back out. We do have fast repairs out here, so the 51's not totally done for the night, but that right front damage will hinder him down these front stretch. And along straightaways here, aerodynamics do matter. So that could factor into some time.
Already got some cars hitting pit road. Morgan's hitting it right now. Kyle Stewart hit it 2 laps ago.
And what a tough pit road to get onto. It's almost like a chicane to come in there.
Kyle's trying to unlap himself on merit.
You remember Kyle Stewart and Dakota Floyd got into each other earlier in this race. Floyd has since taken over that situation. And the 5 of Phillips does not want to give that lap back to the 41. He is pushing it. And you know Stewart will get it back. The 5 of Phillips is going to have to pit. He moves out of the way now down the straightaway. So John Sanu hits pit road as well as Kai Shappert. No, rather Thad Miller coming in. Looks like the 7 of Disbro hits pit road. These guys went about 25 laps. A few of them are still stretching it out. There's Phillips, Cleveland, Ritchie. Still out on the racetrack. Oh, the 41 almost gets into the 707 there. That's right in front of your leader. Hopefully no problems for this top 5. They were starting to reel them back in. And with that fast repair on the 51, we'll have to see. But 2 cars out of the race. Unfortunately, the 8 of Langton, after a black screening issue with his PC. And the 4 of Trenton Collins. Done for tonight. We only have 8 trucks on the lead lap. Cody Williams will be the last truck on the lead lap. Kyle Stewart getting one of those laps back now. Back on point. Trying to chase down Dakota Floyd, who is 3 seconds ahead of him. There's Brian Hennings on pit road. It looks like Rick Fagone back out on the racetrack. He pit early in this race. You know what would have been more interesting to me is if any drivers would have tried like the 15 lap mark and then tried to run it out to the very end. Strategy wise, that could have paid off, having fresher tires for an additional 10, 15 laps on these guys. Might have created a situation where you could take a 15th place car and end up in the top 10.
I definitely think pitting early would have kept you out of the rat's nest, going through the fields and, you know, having people up running in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th spot having issues, and you capitalize on their problems.
You never really know here when it comes to road course racing what the outcomes are going to be. Justin Ritchie takes over the lead. He is the last truck to run. He's going to run the entire stint here on fuel. Looks like he'll probably bring it down pit road this time by. It's 29 laps. He's going to go one more. On board here with the number 55. There's 2 laps led now for Justin Ritchie. And Orange Speed, outside of Langton, still solid here tonight. Unfortunate there for the number 8, but Phillips, Ritchie, Cook, Stewart, all still in the top 10. Stewart, the last one on the lead lap. Does he bring it down this time? I would say he's not going to be able to go much further on fuel here. Unfortunately, Ritchie is losing time to the 5.
Oh, yeah.
You can see on the left-hand side, it's shaved down a little bit since we first started talking about that lead. He is going to stay out another lap. I say that, he actually stretched the lead back out a couple tenths there down the front stretch. But Phillips is about a second faster overall. He might have been navigating some lap traffic. There's the 51 of Cook going by the 86 of John Sanu now. He has the 72. Jacob Daniels in the 9th spot. Trying to navigate around. Disbro loses a ton of time there on those pit stops. He falls back to 4th. Todd Cleveland gets between the 51 and the 7. He's up to 4th now. Started in 5th spot, up 1 position from where he began the race. Solid drive here for Todd Cleveland. He was solid at COTA. I believe he got caught up in a mix there with maybe the 16 of Nick Gardner during that race that kind of ruined his day. But he was still able to salvage, I believe, an 11th place finish, if I remember correctly. COTA was, what, week 4 in the schedule, if I remember right.
Correct.
So if you're just joining us here for VSRL in the SET Truck Series, Justin Ritchie getting some laps led, strength of the field with Ross Phillips and, you know, Sean Langton out of the race. Ross Phillips has now found himself in a pretty good situation.
Here he comes.
There's Ritchie down pit road now. Morgan Cook, 4 seconds back from Phillips. So after this cycles through, you're going to see the 5 of Phillips coming down the front stretch now. He has Nicholas Pressey in front of him, trying to make a pass as they go into turn 1. There's Morgan Cook.
Yeah, I was about to say, Morgan started 7th, and he promised that he was going to be on the podium this week, and he's worked his way up to 2nd.
And shown a lot of speed here for the last 15 laps or so. We'll have to wait and see if the 51 of Cook can get up there and challenge Ross Phillips. We saw Disbro and Cook both catching up to the 5 there in the first stint of this race, just before pit stops. Checking in with some of these guys. There's Rick Fagone going around the 13 of Thad Miller. That was for position. 16, Nick Gardner goes by Cole Jarrett. I believe Jarrett on pit road there. Some close battles on the racetrack. You have Kyle Stewart and Justin Ritchie, 6th and 7th position. 2 of the last trucks on the lead lap. Remember, Ritchie stayed out the longest, so he's going to have about 4 lap fresher tires. Actually, more than that, 10 laps in the difference on tires here with the 41 and the 55. You would think Ritchie would have a little more advantage and be able to pass Stewart, but he loses ground here. Bad exit maybe to a corner. Oh, and the 86 of Sanu's around. He's going to exit out of the session. Not exactly sure what happened to John Sanu that got him so beat up, but I would say the hill got him. Yes. Hard into the out. Oh, that's tough. An unfortunate deal there with John Sanu. He's going to be out of the race here as well. Some of these guys that are struggling here tonight might pick up a couple positions. Cole Jarrett also taking an early exit, loading it up for tonight. He's going to fall down to about the 28th position when it's all said and done, barring that no other drivers DNF. I think he's done for the night. A 51 at Cook now to Nicholas Pressey. Gets around the 19 of Laverne. Having to navigate the lap traffic, it's been difficult. To 5.3 seconds. What? Go ahead.
Third, fourth, and fifth about to be under a blanket.
Yeah, it looks like Cleveland and Disbro definitely right on top of each other. Lloyd is about a second, well, 0.8 back.
They start getting battling side by side. He's going to reel them right in.
And there it is, the side-by-side first third position. Disbro gets around Todd Cleveland. Now Floyd, next one in line. Be right on board with the 24. And up over the hill transition, Disbro completely sideways there.
What a save.
And he's going to dirt track it for a moment. We know he does better on the dirt anyway, so the 7 puts it out there, hangs the right rear, or the left rear rather. And look at him, he still maintains that third spot. Now a pass here for fourth position. It looked like Dakota Floyd was going to send it in there into 1. He doesn't get the nose in. The Beltway Coffee 24 is going to maintain 5th for another lap. Looks like these guys, once they don't have that move into the inside for that front stretch, they tend to back off. Now, still surprising here for me personally to see Justin Ritchie still not able to get around the 41 with such a vast difference in tires here. We're talking about 10 laps between the 55 and the 41. Impressive drive, though, by Stewart to be able to hold the 6th position. Remember, he started in 4th, had that little get-together.
It'll be interesting to see that if Richie's tires benefit him as this race draws to a close, maybe the last 5 to 6 laps. I'm not saying he's going to catch first or second, but third place, only 4 seconds up the road. Do the new tires make a difference for him to get there?
Yeah, I think the opportunity is there. If he can get around, maybe he's just going to have to move his teammate out of the way. I don't know. I don't think he would do that, but it might be one of those situations in the last lap, last corner. There's Disbro in 3rd. He is about 11 seconds back from Morgan Cook. Going through your top 10, it's Phillips, Cook, Disbro, Cleveland, Floyd, Stewart, Ritchie, Pressey, Daniels, and Hennings. Hennings going around just now. Jacob Daniels looks like he had some problems there in the last corner, and he did. He went off the track. You got some help by Hennings as well.
Yeah, that's an incredible recovery by Hennings.
Yeah, Hennings, spun out on lap 1 or 2?
Oh, yeah. Ripped the front end off.
I think Hennings thought the 72 was going to move out of his way. I don't think he gave him much time to do so, though. He went right through him. Back on the another replay here on the blimp camera. You can see the 72 does get loose, and this is probably not the best angle with the trees. But, yeah, 72 just come out of the last corner a little bit sideways. Hennings was on the throttle ready to go. It's up to 9th now for the 74. Again, he is a lap down, but he has Nicholas Pressey, would be the next truck in line. He is 11 seconds ahead of him. Hennings is trimming away at that lead. And you can see why now, because the 94 is in heavy traffic here. So 10 laps to go. Ross Phillips comes across the line now to lead lap 22 of his 41 laps completed. Morgan Cook back in the second position, trying to shave away that lead. It's kind of went stagnant, somewhere around 4.5 to 5 seconds since we came back out after green flag pit stops. Remember, Cook also has a little bit older tires than the 5. He strung it out a little bit more. Dylan Disbro doesn't seem to be gaining much ground. There's some side-by-side racing between Cleveland and Floyd now for the 5th spot. 4th, rather. Floyd not able to clear again, so the 44 is going to hold on to it once more. A lot of these guys race side by side. Justin Ritchie did get around the 41 of Kyle Stewart. Now trying to chase down Floyd. 2.5 seconds with about 8 laps to go.
See if he's willing to push the issue now that he's not stuck behind his teammate. I think now that he's gotten the teammate out of the way, obviously not wanting to move the teammate with the fresher tires. But now that it's clean sails ahead, who knows?
Yeah, and you can see the 24 Floyd, who was struggling to get around the 44. The 44 passed Disbro, so I don't know if Disbro had a problem, but he falls back to 4th, and now for the podium, it's the 44 truck. Last time by, 1/10 of a second, if that. It was less than that. There's the 10 of Fagone going off course for a moment there in the background. But a little bit less than 1/10 of a second on lap times. Morgan Cook was a little bit faster that last time by. Again, we can factor in the lap traffic that Phillips is having to navigate right now. And it looks like he loses a ton of time there trying to get around a truck. The lead goes down to under 4 seconds for a moment there. So the battles continue in this top 5. There's Kai Shappert trying to pass Frank Zingen. This is for the 12th spot with about 5 to go. The other closest battle on the racetrack is starting to become more and more of a factor as they go down the front stretch. The 24 going to get clear of the 7 and go to 4th. He knows that 55 of Ritchie, and it looks like we got some problems here in turn 1. That's the 70 of Spiker going around.
This battle for 3rd is about to get wild. I'm counting 5 lap cars directly in front.
There's Nick Gardner, one of those trucks in that mix. Gardner being scored in the 18th position currently. He is racing for position 17th with Riley Laverne. 5 laps to go now. Taking the driver's right. Dakota Floyd gets by the 16. And Disbro gets into the side of the 16. He doesn't want to let Dakota Floyd get out of his sight. He also sees in his rearview mirror the 55 of Justin Ritchie with those fresher tires. He's going to make quick work of Nick Gardner and try to get up there to pass for position. Wow, the 47 of Buell needs to back up. He needs to get off the track. At the top of that crest, luckily wasn't on the other side of that crest, but man, this is coming off that corner. What a surprise for some of these guys. You saw 4th through about 7th position come through there. That was a close one. Now Floyd trying to navigate around the 19 of Laverne. The lead from Ross Phillips to Morgan Cook, 5.5 seconds now. Cook has a pretty solid gap between 3rd position of about 16 and a half. Wow, look at all the lap traffic in front of him. Now side by side between Disbro. Floyd's going to lose another position, and he gets into the side of the 55. Ritchie raced all the way up there. And with 3 to go, Floyd and Ritchie are going to go at it. Floyd also loses a spot out of all of that. And now a truck sideways. There's 2 trucks sideways into 1. The chaos is coming out here with 3 laps to go. Dakota Floyd gets caught up in that. There's the touch there on the side of Ritchie. It sends Floyd out into the grass. They end up side by side down the front straightaway. And then here we go into turn 1. Nowhere to go for the 24. He's going to fall back to the 7th position. Here's the 5 of Ross Phillips. Morgan Cook has the lead down to under 4 seconds with 2 to go. One more corner here for the 5. He's going to go down the front straightaway to take the white flag. 1 lap to go for Ross Phillips. Morgan Cook can see him, but he's got a lot of trucks in front of him. I don't think he's going to have an opportunity to catch up. Justin Ritchie and Kyle Stewart went back at it. Stewart gets back around for a top 5. Ritchie had those issues with the contact of Dakota Floyd. Now with the white flag in the air, can Ritchie sneak out this top 5? But for the final time, around the last turn, leading over 25 laps here tonight, it's the number 5 of Ross Phillips. 31 laps led, your winner here tonight at Limerock. The battle still ensuing back here between Ritchie and Stewart. They've got a couple more corners to go through here, and a bunch of lap traffic in front of them. But I don't think Ritchie's going to be able to do it. Disbro will come across the line in the 4th spot. 5th belongs to Kyle Stewart, and Justin Ritchie 6th. Todd Cleveland with a top 3 here tonight. How about that? And I won't even make mention of Morgan Cook because he promised it. He told us he was going to finish up here. We believed him. Post-race interviews with your top 3. We're going to watch Ross Phillips burn it down on the front straightaway here. We're just parking on the line. There it is. So again, post-race interviews with your top three. You're watching the SCT Truck Series live on VSPEED. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be back right after this.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
There's your white flag moment presented by VRX Simulators. The number 5 of Ross Phillips was so far ahead. He only navigates to lap traffic. That was the only factor really that he had to worry about. Not a lot of pressure from drivers here tonight. He kept pace with the number 8 of Langton for a little bit, but unfortunately, the number 8 of Sean Langton having a computer failure, he takes an early exit from this race here tonight. We're going to catch up down on pit road with your top 3. Third place finisher here tonight. That's going to be the number 44 of Todd Cleveland. Cleveland, we talked about. Oh, there he is. I found him that time. Todd Cleveland in the 44. Do you got a copy?
I do.
Todd, you looked really sharp out there tonight. I know you were a little far back from the front too, but that gaggle of trucks between 3rd to probably 8th position fought all night long. You guys traded positions during green flag pit stops, and then out there on the track navigating lap traffic. It just seemed like you never could get away from each other.
Yeah, lap traffic was huge. It was holding us all up, and it was really just keeping us all grouped up, me, Dakota, and all the Morgan Cook there in the beginning. And yeah, it was just lap traffic holding everybody up, and trying to get through it was a pain in the butt, but I managed to get through clean. So
yeah,
that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, that's what you got to do. I was watching some of the guys weren't so lucky here tonight. We saw incidents with Dakota Floyd. We saw incidents with Justin Ritchie, Kyle Stewart, Dylan Disbrow also involved with some of that. So it makes sense that you came out in 3rd when you were able to navigate it all cleanly.
Yep, it definitely helped out a lot being able to navigate the lap traffic cleanly. And I know Dakota had some issues, and Justin Ritchie had an issue. But honestly, I think if they didn't have issues, they would have had my number. So I guess it was just how well I got around lap traffic is why I'm speaking to you.
Well, we know that tempers flare after Bristol. We saw, one of the very first times in this, at least in my broadcasting career, that we've done any kind of heat format. So I know after that last week, you come out here back onto the asphalt. You're just looking to try to mitigate that damage that we had last week. You come home 3rd. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out?
I'd like to shout out you for doing the broadcast, and Garrett Helmlinger and Justin Ritchie and everybody that is involved with putting this on. You guys do a great job. And then I'd like to shout out my spotter, Evan Myers. He always does a great job. So we'll be back next week to give it hell again.
Well, we appreciate your time as we watch right here coming across the crest. Nice evasive maneuver there. John Buell was sitting right on top of the hill there. But yeah, congratulations, Todd, and maybe we'll get to talk to you next week.
I hope so. See you next week.
There's your 3rd place finisher, Todd Cleveland. So now moving on to your second place driver. That would be the number 51 of Morgan Cook. And I can pretty much sum up this entire interview. You promised it. You delivered. The end.
Yeah, I called my shot, didn't I?
You did. I know that there were some issues with some drivers out here tonight. Some attrition. I think you still would have pulled off third had the 8 of Langton not had a computer failure. We confirmed that that was a black screen there for the 8. He was on another level here tonight. But you were making pace with Ross Phillips there at the tail end of that first green flag run.
Yeah, I was just trying to keep it on the track, honestly. Keep moving forward, pick through the lap cars. And I honestly, I couldn't tell you where I was. I knew I was moving forward. I just didn't know where I was on the track in terms of position. And we were just working. I saw Disbro was faster than I was, so I was trying to chase him down. Fortunately, got caught up in that issue with Laverne there, where he spun in front of me. Damage was bad enough I had to pit, but it happened to be right in the window. It kind of worked out for me. And from there, I guess I cycled out second and rode there for the rest of the race.
Yeah, we saw that. You were getting to the inside of Disbro as that happened, and there was just nowhere for you to go. He had checked up, and the 19 of Laverne was long ways in the middle of the racetrack. There was just nowhere to go.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, when you spin, it's a really difficult thing on a road course to know where to go. I mean, on an oval, you want to just lock it down and everyone will find a way around you. But on a road course with the switchbacks and all that, it's really difficult to figure out where they're going to go. And I think he was trying to get off the grass to the inside because Disbro would stop for him and didn't expect me to just charge through there because I had the spot. There was enough pavement there, and I just caught his nose. He caught my nose, and all good.
So the 51 puts it up in second position here tonight. You pull out about 25.5 seconds over third place. You had the leader within three and a half. Had there been more laps, do you think you would have been able to catch Ross?
The only thing that was going to cost Ross this race was lap traffic. Anytime he got into lap traffic of more than 2 cars, I'd close up to a couple seconds. And then anytime he'd get out of that lap traffic, he'd stretch it back out. He was significantly faster than I was today, as a lot of trucks in the field were. I just happened to not have issues that derailed my event. And I was able to get through the lap traffic pretty cleanly. And it all just worked out for me tonight. So I'll take this one for sure and move on to the next.
Well, congratulations on second place, Morgan. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out for tonight's performance?
I do. Unfortunately, the spreadsheet's broken, so I'm going to have to do this by memory. You and VSPEED, obviously, broadcasts are awesome. I really couldn't wait to talk to you again, so I thought I'd grab a podium so I could do just that. I got to thank Orange Speed, that whole team. They've been really great. They helped me get good here. 2 days ago, I was awful at this racetrack, and I feel like they've all really helped me out to get where I need to be. The admins of VSRL, appreciate all them for putting on these shows and dealing with all the carnage that is probably the general chat right now. I need to thank 603 Designs for coming on board. Appreciate them. Appreciate VSpeed more though. And I got to thank Southeast Tutoring. I got to see tutoring.ca, Bolted Island Vacations at boltedislandvacations.com. Go book your next vacation with Thad and the boys down there. I think I got them all. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
We appreciate that, Morgan. And well done out there. I know that the schedule here is going to kind of turn back towards more of the tracks that we're familiar with Pocono next week on November 6th. But I think we're going to be in the same ballpark where the 51 turning the season around, looking good here as of late. We'll look forward to maybe talking to you at the Tricky Triangle.
Yeah, it's just a triangle road course.
Yeah. You can handle it.
We'll be just fine.
All right. We appreciate it, Morgan, and have a good night, man.
You bet. You too.
Second place finisher here tonight, Morgan Cook in the number 51, putting it together at Limerock. And the 5 of Ross Phillips, and we gotta ask him because we know he was fast. He was out here putting the laps down. But Ross, let's be honest, it was one of those things where I don't know that Langton was going to be caught. Something happened there. Can you confirm what happened?
I'm pretty sure that his PC crashed on him. He's been having PC issues lately.
Rather unfortunate.
Yeah. I wish it wouldn't have happened because I'd really like to see how that played out. He was burning the hell out of his tires. I was in pretty good tire saving mode there for a little while. But we don't.
Well, it looked like during that first stint with the lap traffic starting to become a factor, it just kind of changed your lines. It changed your lap times. You never really had like an opportunity to get a clean one in because you were always running into something or someone.
Yeah, it got nuts there for a while. It just seemed like the first several laps when we finally caught lap traffic, it was like everybody, instead of just staying trying to race their race, it was like a lot of them were just pulling over as soon as they saw him coming in, and it's like they started going, and I'm like, well, I'm still here. Like, I got to get around too. It is what it is. But a lot of that stuff cost me a lot of time. I finally said to hell with the next person that does it. I'm just going to start hitting them. So we did what we had to. It just really sucks that Sean dropped out. That was definitely more than likely going to be his race. I don't really like to see how that played out, though.
Yeah, we saw the just the sudden drop there, and we can kind of, I guess, equate that to engine failure in real life when you have issues like that. That's the most realistic way I can kind of rationalize it for anybody out there that's watching.
Yep, agreed, 100%. He's supposed to have that fixed here pretty shortly, I think. So we shall see, and hopefully he gets everything working again. So, like I said, it just sucks. The only reason I won was clearly because of Sean's issues. So
now we're talking about the points here in the post race. You're coming into the tricky triangle with the points lead. I know that you do well at short tracks. You do really well at intermediate 1.5 miles. You've done phenomenal here at road courses. What do you have in store for us at Pocono?
Well, I don't know. We'll see throughout the week how practices go and things like that. I'm pretty damn good at Pocono, so Pinocchio. It's my Pinocchio track.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll
this puts you in the second win here. You joined Sean Langton as 2-time winner this season, and after this week, you should stretch out that points lead a little bit more after Langton falls out. It looks like that lead might grow over Nick Gardner as well, not having a good night. So you've got a pretty solid lead in the points here going into race number. Is it race number 8? I'm losing my mind.
Yeah,
race number 9.
I think so. It is race number 8. I think it is. I think this was 7. But yeah, I mean, it's nice being in the points. I mean, if I didn't have any wins, it'd be, good, perfect scenario for myself. But at the end of the day, once the playoffs comes, it doesn't matter if I'm in leading now or not. So it's all about what we can do then.
Well, there you have it. Ross Phillips, the winner here tonight at Limerock. With all the chaos and the organization, we had lap traffic, we had burn up tires, we had apparently tempers. I'm reading the general chat as I interview you.
There's a lot. Yeah, there was a lot. Garrett had to jump on there a couple of times chat-wise and try to get some of the drivers cooled down. I mean, there was definitely a lot going on, and he's tried to, him and Morgan both. Morgan really put a cue on it before about just trying to keep people, even with the tempers flaring, you just kind of got to chill and talk about it after the race, even if it's just one little subtle thing of simply saying that somebody needs to park it or something, that kind of touches people's bad nerves. But all that banner stuff, that even if it's the truth, still it just gets people riled up and no need for it. But
well, do you have anybody you'd like to shout out for the second victory of the season here?
Yeah, my kids for leaving me the hell alone, thankfully. Daughter was bugging the hell out of me before this race started. I was lucky to even put down some qualifying times. That's how bad it was. But definitely everybody at VSRL. You guys are, I'm feeding my fish. You guys over at VSPEED, for always putting on a pretty good broadcast. Something I get to watch tomorrow. Always, again, Ryan for putting this team together. He's got a pretty solid team here. Good group of guys that were all fast and helping each other.
That's Ryan Depew in the 31, correct?
I believe that's his truck number. Yeah, when he decides to ever run with us.
So there you go. Orange Speed on top again here. Dominant performance for the entire team. I believe you finished similar to what you had at Coda. 1, 2, 5 and 6. The only thing that was missing out of that was Langton. You guys dominated here again. Congratulations, Ross.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
There's your race winner, Ross Phillips, in the number 5. And I'm a little bit biased on the number. That's always been my number when I came out to race. So I, personally, for me, I'm a fan of the 5 truck. You should be too. He's leading the points as we go into Pocono next week. Let's get those final results up on your screen. The top 3 that we just talked to in post-race, Dylan Disbro is going to bring it home in 4th. And the top 5 will be Kyle Stewart. Justin Ritchie brings it home in 6th position with Dakota Floyd, and those two going at it in the last few laps. They stay on the lead lap. Now starting with the cars a lap down. 8th will be Nicholas Pressey. Cody Williams brings it home in the top 10. And 9th, Brian Hennings with a great recovery will round out the top 10 here tonight. 11th spot belongs to Jacob Daniels with Frank Zingen in 12th. 13th, Kai Schappert. Richard Holland in 14th with Rick Fagone in 15th. Toby Collins, 16th spot. Riley Laverne at 17th. Nick Gardner, 18th. Tough race for him here tonight. Thad Miller going to bring it home in 19th. And John Sanu with a broken engine, able to get back to repair on pit road. He's going to bring it home in the top 20. Cole Jarrett was off the track there for a moment. He's going to be back out there in 21st position. 00 of Randy Saleh in 22nd. 23rd, oh, I apologize. I hit the wrong button there. 23rd will be David Collins with Chris Max in 24th. Benjamin Richards, 25th. Justin Mullins, 26th. Teresa Spiker, 27th. John Buell, 28th. Trent Collins, Sean Langton off the racetrack here tonight. Garrett Humlinger up there in the booth with us tonight. So it was a good one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss a single race as VRSL and the SET Truck Series go live at Pocono Speedway. That'll be at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time next Monday night. But until then, have a great rest of your week, everybody. This is VSPEED signing off.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Dweck.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.